For February the 8th, 2019, we talk about the release of Apex Legends, Frostpunk, and we ask you what your longest gaming session was. Welcome to Level 273. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm David Smith.
I'm Jala Prentice.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Welcome back, Ben. And
hey.
Yeah. Who do we have on last week? Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. Was it Dennis and David? It was you?
Yes, it was. It was Dennis
you.
And David last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, three of us are our names this time,
and
it is only Cole who is named.
Okay, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm gonna. The habit is too ingrained now, so I cannot avoid.
You are just of the name.
Yes.
Cannot or will not.
We cannot pin him down to descriptors of any sort.
Right. Yes, I would like to maintain that layer of abstraction. Ben, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good to have you back. Can you talk about what you were doing?
I can. Yeah. So I'll describe it now. So I was in Seattle and I had an interview with Amazon, and I actually just got a job offer on Friday and accepted it today. So
what?
I'm going to be moving out to Seattle.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'll start the job in like 4 weeks, so that's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Off you go. So then I won't be seeing you when I go over to Austin anymore. Oh well.
But I literally remembered like half an hour before the podcast last week. I was like brain dead after interviewing, and I was like, "Oh shit, podcast!"
you were brain dead after interviewing, and in a different region of the country than you normally were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do you know what you're going to be working on?
It's like doing like tool development with in Java. So doing stuff with like tools to look at their data.
Yeah.
I still maintain that Java is quite possibly the worst thing ever to happen to the field of computer science.
Really? No, are you talking about JavaScript or Java?
No, Java. JavaScript is one of the best things, but Java basically instituted the incredible anti-pattern that is object-oriented programming.
Okay.
I'm out of my depth. Here.
Silence from certain individuals.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know. Congrats.
Jala, how are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I ran the hot chocolate 15K. So 15K is like 9.3 miles, which is no big deal. I haven't run though in like 2 months. So I threw on my ruck because I knew I was going to take my ruck. I did not know if I was going to just like march it out, which is what you do when you ruck normally, or if I was going to run. So I packed a lighter weight than normal, and it turns out that you get me around a bunch of people running and I get real excited, and then I just go. And so like I didn't go at like full tilt as hard as I could run or anything. I was just talking to everybody. I was talking to people in my running group. I was talking to random people because that's what I do. So I had all these conversations with people, and I was just like, la, 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 going along with my ruck. And so like some of the slower people in my running group who, they're like pushing their pace, and I'm like passing them with my ruck. So like they felt bad, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Or they just think that I'm a monster. It's probably the latter.
I mean, to be fair, those aren't mutually exclusive.
That's true. So, in either case, so I did that, and like I think my overall pace ended up being like around 11-minute mile or something. So I was at a chill pace for me, just doing my thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did that. It was really fun. They give you all of this like crap you shouldn't be eating right after the race, and actually during the race as well. Like they just give you like marshmallows and stuff, which I didn't eat because I'm vegan, so whatever. But like they have all
marshmallows made out of marshmallows.
Marshmallows are made with gelatin.
Yeah,
gelatin comes from animals.
Huh.
Yep.
So either way, so I did the race though, and it was rather fun, and the swag was real cool. I have this really nice, cool zip-up hoodie thing, which I'm sure I will post pictures of at some point. But anyway, it's cool. I would recommend it to anybody who lives anywhere that there is a hot chocolate run. It is from Allstate. It is the Allstate Hot Chocolate Run. It is a 5K and a 15K. So if you want to walk 5K, you can walk 5K, or you can run it, or you can run 15K or walk it, whatever.
Yeah,
but it was a really good event. I actually really, really enjoyed it, and I miss running. So that was good to be out there and just like, do my thing.
Yeah.
But it is funny because all of the race pictures ended up being really good, and I never have race photos that I like. I think like my favorite race photo was the very first photo that I had from like my first half marathon or something. And like, I haven't liked any of my photos since, but I actually liked 2 or 3 of the ones from this one. So one of them, they caught me in the middle of like making a face because I was talking to somebody and they were telling me something, and I just had like an expression that usually is on my face when we're podcasting. So
it's kind of similar to the ducky picture that was posted earlier.
Something like that. So anyway, I did that. I also accidentally signed up for GoRuck's February Rucking Challenge, which is to basically ruck 1 mile every day for the month. But then like the first week you have whatever weight. The second week you add weight to it. The third week you add more weight to it. So like you have to pick your weight, wisely for this.
Yeah.
So I accidentally signed up for that because I just wanted to know if it would allow me to register without putting in other people's email addresses to invite friends to do it.
Okay.
And you can. So
well, that's nice of them.
Yeah, so I accidentally signed up, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So, and there's like penalties. Like if you miss a day, there's a penalty workout you have to do in addition to making up the mile and then doing that day's mile. So like you really don't want to miss a day. But I signed up for it, so I'm going to do it. It's free. So, I mean, whatever. So, if anybody else who's listening rucks, check out goruck.com. They have apparently now monthly challenges for this year. So, and you get a free patch out of it. And it's just like a way to focus your workout. So today I did like weight training, and then I went and did my ruck as my cool down. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second time you've accidentally signed up for a thing, I think.
I forgot that I signed up for that 12-hour endurance event that
I put that in the same category.
I forgot that I did that. And I'm doing that, like the day after I get back from a 3-day boot camp in Austin for, the fitness job. So, like, I'm going to get beat up for 3 days, and then I'm going to go ruck for 12 hours because that's great.
Yeah.
So, like that's my life. I accidentally sign up for stuff or forget that I signed up for it or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
So
in my defense, I posted to the channel, but marshmallows used to be made out of the plant called the marshmallow. Yeah. However, apparently at some point we cheaped out and started making them out of like cow feed or whatever.
Yeah,
there's not enough murder in this tree. We need to change that.
Yeah, nothing real can stay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's me.
Cool. How are things?
Jala,
oh, good.
I was gonna say, I like how you don't stop at rucking anymore. Like now you need to be like having a conversation while rucking for the added challenge.
Well, having a conversation, rucking, and also like ruck running. I'm not just running and I'm not just rucking. I just put both of them together and decided to do both at the same time. So like the thing that's going to be the thing that will boggle everyone's mind in my running group is if I show up to running group with my ruck and I do all the training runs with my ruck. Right. And I just like literally just have weight on my back the whole time, all the time. So I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but like that is a thing that could potentially happen sometime.
Have you ever considered just going full DBZ and just never removing the weight until you need to reveal your true power level?
Well, there is that. I could just do that. I could just walk around all the time with the weights on.
Yeah.
Just saying, it's something worth considering.
2 rucks, and then the day of the race, just take one of the rucks off.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, like I also finished up CG Fit, which is the Camp Gladiator fitness thing for a month, where they do in-body testing at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. Now, because I've been so busy with the job transition stuff, I haven't had as much time to train, and the time that I've had to train has been for rucking, because I did all those rucking challenges last month. You know, like there's this timed ruck for the Ruck Club call out, then there's, you know, the January resolution ruck and stuff. So I just ended up doing all these miles with weight. So what happened is I lost fat, but I also lost some muscle in my upper body and my core, because I haven't had a lot of time to train. And what time I have had has been, you know, going in a direction with weight on my back, you know, just walking or jogging or whatever. So, but my legs done blew up. and so like, you know, I was like, man, am I just getting really, you know, am I like gaining a lot of weight or something here? Because my shorts were starting to roll up. Like I have compression shorts that I train in, and then they started to roll up, and I'm like, what the hell with this? Then I was all depressed, and then I got my fit test results, and I'm like, oh, I'm just turning into Chun-Li.
As one does.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even like Chun-Li. I like Kimmy. So like that upsets me. But anyway,
I'm sorry. Don't say something awesome is happening to me and then expect us to. No, I understand.
Of all the Street Fighter characters, that's pretty good one to turn into.
Yeah.
Yes, because she gets like hit priority and shit. So
yeah,
you know, she's
I mean, it's better than turning into Blanca.
Well,
or E Honda.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, anyway, so that's what's happened to me. Like I'm turning into a fighting game character at the end.
Oh, David, how are things up there in New York City?
They're going pretty well. We, you know, had crazy snow squall for about a day, and then it returned back to, you know, your regularly scheduled global warming winter. So
yeah, no worries.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Did you see the snow squall?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Which, for reference, for everybody else listening, was a Squall Leonhardt figurine from Final Fantasy VIII in the snow.
Yeah.
That is the snow squall.
Those figurines are really cool, and I see them all over the place, but it's always the lame ones now, because all the good ones have been snapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those FF8 figurines are neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's cool, David. And I've just been doing the stuff that I usually do. Taking care of my cat and playing games and making podcasts and stuff.
That order.
But you did have some kind of a football thing you were doing with your family until you gave up on it.
yeah, no, I mean, so the Super Bowl was yesterday, and I went to I went to some family on my dad's side, you know, my grandma on my dad's side, and we watched I think 10 minutes of the game and said, this sucks, and then we just decided to do what we usually do when we get together, you know, in any numbers, which is play penny ante poker. So for
Rich?
What's that?
Penny ante.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never heard of that.
No, you just play poker, like just a bunch of just a bunch of 7-card games, like old discredited games that do not get played anymore. Like at one point, an in-law tried to bring Texas Hold'em into it, and nobody was having it.
Too many rules.
Yeah. No, so we do follow the queen and low hole and stuff. You know, where it's open, it is $2 or two pennies rather, and the maximum one-time bet or raise you can do is 3 cents. Yeah. No, it is a fun thing to do, and so we had good food and had fun ignoring a football game while playing poker for exceedingly small amounts, which we have done for literally my entire life. Yeah.
Well, that sure is a thing.
Yep. Just good old-fashioned corny fun, which is what we had. Yeah. Well, we've all checked in. We've been doing stuff, and there's other stuff going on. We got a show to do, a regular kind of show.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah. with a brief of multiplayer and a grind, and randomly, I've determined we are going to start with the brief, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games around us.
Go ahead.
For
just a second, I was really hoping that you actually were going to pick a different thing and throw all of us off track. I was really hoping for like 2 seconds that it was going to happen and that the chaos was going to enter our universe here at Duckfeed.
Nope.
Let's be honest. Does anyone really think we could handle that?
No.
If I were the one hosting the show, it'd be some different shit every time.
Since we talked so much about marshmallows, Jala, I want you to lead off with this story that is related to music and marshmallows and Fortnite.
Yes, indeed. So, the EDM star Marshmello teamed up with Fortnite's devs for a special event, including in-game marshmallow skins for your character and your items, and also a live performance at the Pleasant Park section of the Fortnite map.
Okay.
So, the 10-minute concert was something that occurred in a limited time mode called Showtime. And the limited time modes are events that modify the rules of the game for a limited amount of time. So basically it turns it, into just like a hub town instead of, like a place where people can beat each other up, because otherwise that's what everybody would be doing instead of paying attention to the
because
concert.
It's called Battle Royale.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, during the concert, Marshmello performed a medley of Alone, Everyday, and Happier. And while it was going on, some of his real-life stage visuals, like fireworks and lasers and stuff, were going on. But also, there were cool things they could only do in the digital world, like adding giant holograms that had gravity-altering effects. So I guess your character would be, like, floating around and shit. And then over 10 million players were participating in this and popped up to see it. And previously, Marshmello has like a longer running interest with Fortnite, because he teamed up with top tier Twitch streamer Ninja and won last year's Fortnite Pro Am tournament. So they donated 1 million of the winnings to charity, and the rest of the winnings, I think there were 2 million otherwise. The rest of that they gave to all the other competitors. They just divided it out for everybody else to have. So that was cool. That was really cool. And apparently he also runs a gaming channel on YouTube, and he also competed in American Ninja Warrior. And apparently he is a free running and parkour champ. Like here's a video of him. Now, of course, because this guy is wearing like a big marshmallow head, it could literally be anybody. So I don't know if it's actually him or if it's, like it could be. I mean, people are multi-talented. It's very possible that it could actually be him, but it could also be some random person. Either way, the entity known as Marshmello represented.
Is he a marshmallow or is his name Marshmello?
That again.
Here's the thing. We don't know for a fact. We cannot verify whether this is the actual Marshmello or only someone going by the moniker of Marshmello at the juncture of the American Ninja Warrior presentation. But he kicked ass at it. So, like, either he is an actual parkour champ or somebody else dressed up as Marshmello and did it for him. But either way, it's still cool. And like to watch the kids' reactions in the crowd was just like awesome, because those kids lurbs him to death, and they are like, and they probably play Fortnite and then also saw him in Fortnite, and they're like his biggest fans ever, and that just like made their life. So it is okay. I don't care. He can, whether or not it's actually him, it does not matter to me.
Yeah, no, I don't. But, it doesn't matter.
But it's all in good fun, and like to watch this person, whoever it may have been, actually do the American Ninja Warrior thing with that head on. Like, that's pretty badass. Like, I watched the whole thing and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've heard of this person, this being, this animate marshmallow man.
Well, I actually went and downloaded some of his music afterwards. I was like, okay, I got props. Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to this. Oh, it's actually pretty decent. Like, I could probably play some of this when I teach Camp Gladiator, so that's cool.
It's what, EDM style stuff?
At least we know he's someone who cares not for search engine optimization.
Well, he's got a spell. He spells it different. Yeah, he's got a spell.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his spelling. See, like, if you look in the chat, you'll see how it's spelled.
Yeah.
It's spelled how it sounds rather than how it's supposed to be spelled.
Yes. Well, so he does what? Electronic dance music?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I just, judging by the mascot head, I could see how he would, or they would do that. Yeah.
Yes.
That lines up. Cool.
Yes.
I'm going to leapfrog off of that from one story about a battle royale game. It's not for me, to one that actually is. So Respawn just today, Monday, as of the time we're recording, announced and released their own battle royale game set in the Titanfall universe called Apex Legends. Yeah, I actually am excited because Titanfall 2 owns, and I want to play this a lot, actually. But yeah, like they're not doing, if they have announced it before, I didn't notice it. Seems like something I would have noticed, but yeah, they're just like, hey, go download and play this. You can get it for free on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Just go nuts. So you don't actually have any Titans that you play as. Instead, you pick different characters who, like Overwatch characters, have their own personality and their own kind of movesets and advantages, which is pretty neat. So, you have temporary abilities. It's a little bit like, that happened in the multiplayer and to a certain extent the single player in Titanfall 2 as well. So you get, different perks, like one person can like temporarily look through walls, stuff like that. It is, I think, 60 players at a time. They have one map. I don't know exactly how they're monetizing it, but they've got direct purchase kind of stuff set in there. And it's like, yeah, this is one of the things that Respawn has been working on, in addition to a Star Wars shooter. Like, yeah, which I had forgotten about. They were working on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out like Christmas, and it's supposed to be after the episode 3, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was curious about what they were up to. I knew in the back of my head they were working on some kind of Star Wars thing because they're, an EA studio. But this looks great, and that is enough of a gimmick. The putting this in the Titanfall world with Titanfall mechanics and just kind of the Titanfall-esque characters. That is enough for me to be really, really curious about this, and I hope that my busted-ass PC can run it. Ben, how do you feel about this? The other, you being the other person on the show who has played Titanfall.
I have not actually played Titanfall, but I do like Respawn Entertainment because they did Modern Warfare 2, so I just still like them a lot from that.
Yeah, I could have sworn you played Titanfall 2.
I didn't play the first one because I think that was an Xbox exclusive, but then the second one was for PC as well, right?
Yeah, so the first one was Xbox One and PC exclusive. And the second one hit PS4. That's how I played it. It got really, really cheap really fast because not a lot of people went into it.
But I think they don't sell it on Steam. I think they sell it on EA's game market, whatever that is.
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Origin only.
I think that's probably why I never got around to playing it.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that they programmed the game so well for Titanfall that they could just make a battle royale game for it in a couple weeks, and that's why they it wasn't a problem to release this game.
Yeah.
While they're working on a Star Wars game.
Yeah, it's like, we flip a switch. Okay, it's made. Yeah. Cool, good. Yeah. I'm super jazzed about it because moving around in Titanfall is so fun. It is such a satisfying game just to get from place to place in. And if they bring even a portion of that into this, I think it'll lead to good times.
Yeah, being able to shoot really far up in the air and then parachute somewhere else would be a lot of fun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So did anyone actually play or does anyone still play Titanfall 2?
when we covered it for WoF, I think it was around this time last year, there were people who were playing it online. You know, I think that it would be safe to say that by most metrics, it is a dead game and was kind of dead on arrival, but I don't think it's, you know, I don't think that if you signed on, it would just be a ghost town or anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is it's actually currently on sale on PS4. I debated buying it, but, you know, haven't for that very reason.
I mean, so like I had an amazing amount of time with it just in the single player. Like the single player campaign is phenomenal. It has two really, really good levels. And I would say that if it's on sale on PS4, it'll probably be like $15.
Something like that.
It's not for me to say what $15, you know, means to you, or, you know, how much money that is, but
sure.
$15 for like a really good 6-hour shooter that has some, you know, just like good ideas that I don't know that I've seen expressed really well anywhere else. I think that, you know, more than makes up for the lack of any kind of ongoing online play. You know, just treat
that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so I can confirm after watching a video that there are like weather balloons that can take you upwards in the sky, and then you can kind of parachute down in this game.
Yep. Yeah.
So you can like, what's the thing from Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah, you could foley them or whatever.
Exfiltrate.
Yeah, you can exfiltrate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goat scream balloon filter. Yes. Oh, so I'm going to stare mournfully at the system requirements. Yes, I absolutely cannot run this. Fuck.
So go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yeah. Anything else about that, or do we want to move on to the next story? Let's move on to the next story. Speaking of expensive things, Ben, what's going on with this VR?
I was going to say, thinking of equally surprising games, there's a new VR game coming out for Sony, being developed by Tequila Works, the people who made that one zombie game that I forget, and Ryan. Deadlight is a zombie game.
Okay.
They're doing a Groundhog Day video game because it was high time that somebody used that IP again in video game form. The game looks very similar to like what's it called, the Walking Dead type games, where it's like 3D but cartoonish animation, like stylized a little bit. The premise of the game is that you're playing as the son of Bill Murray, who happens to be in the same situation that he is, where he is living in a loop in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, on Groundhog's Day. And so you are Phil Jr. or Phil Connor Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the premise of the game. They released a few screenshots of it. They have like locations like the diner that he's in the movie. They have a location of Gobbler's Knob, which is a real place, which is where the groundhog sees his shadow or doesn't. And it looks like one of the locations is like the hotel that he stays in, but that's also kind of weird if that's where you are as a son. But whatever. I don't know.
You never actually left.
Yeah.
So this is what it feels like. It feels like somebody out there, a man in a dark cloak, where you know, just wearing a hat. He has pulled out a briefcase, and inside that case is a rifle. He's put the rifle together, and he has taken out a bullet, and he has carved my name into that bullet, and he is getting ready to fire that, and it's going to hit my PSVR. What in the fuck? Why is this happening now? Why is it just after I get a PlayStation VR? Because Groundhog Day, one of the best movies. I don't normally go in for that kind of hyperbole. It is an amazing, heartfelt, warm film. I have no idea if this will follow in that tradition or do it justice, but like,
I'm gonna guess no.
Probably not. But like, all I can think to say is, you know, a combination of the words why and yes at the same time.
Wes?
Yes.
So I'm a little disappointed that the pitch is not literally son of Bill Murray.
Son of Bill Murray. It is just you in his screening room watching Groundhog Day. It's the one of your dad's movies that you have never seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do like the premise of reliving the same day, but like being able to like level up skills or something like that, and that like unlocks new paths of what you can do, like like a Metroid type game. That seems like a cool idea for a game.
Yeah.
I have very low expectations for this. So like,
yeah.
But as a side note, if you like that premise for a game, check out Way of the Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or I imagine the Zelda games like that too. Majora's Mask, great.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that is one of the main comparisons that is made. Majora's Mask and Groundhog Day, both of which are dark, melancholy, and sweet at the same time. Yeah, like the premise of reliving the same time over and over again is such a video game thing. It is. I mean, I was about to say it's weird nobody has done this yet, but lots of people have done it, and it makes no sense for them to make a game that is literally a sequel to that movie. So,
I was going to say no one's done it before, but then I realized we literally just got done talking about two games that have done it before.
Yeah. That's why I contradicted myself. Yeah, do we know when this is coming out?
It's sometime this year. I don't remember if it said anything more specific than that.
Fuck, I want to watch Groundhog Day so bad.
You're 2 days too late.
Oh, yep. No, it is illegal to watch Groundhog Day when it is not Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is very cool. Thank you for sharing that, because I would not. I didn't know about it until you put it in the box there. So
Word.
Sweet. David, round us out. What is this story about Wii and privacy?
Yeah, so sort of a somewhat depressing think piece on Motherboard. Basically talking about the fact that Nintendo has decided that they're shutting down the Wii Shop channel.
Yep.
And so although for a undetermined, undisclosed amount of time, you'll be able to download any games you've purchased, at some point they're going to shut that down as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the article basically discussed the idea that, in the, as things become more and more, kind of software integrated, average people no longer actually own anything.
Right.
Ranging from, obvious things like your Steam game to things like, your tractor and car, both of which it's claimed you can't repair because you don't own the software.
Right.
And then basically makes the argument that the only way that, video game preservation is actually going to work is via piracy.
Right.
And that's actually basically kind of the thrust of the article. A surf is you.
Pretty much, yeah. This sucks. A lot of people, most of the things I saw on Twitter about this were people bemoaning the lack of the Wii Shop music. Like, that was the thing that they were most outwardly sad about, was, I'm going to miss that. Well, that music's on YouTube. It's fine. You can get a hold of it. I understand that they were joking as well. No, this is terrible. And the other, unspoken part of the story, at least that we haven't brought up here, is that this happens shortly after Nintendo put out such a huge crackdown on ROM sites, making piracy preservation all the more difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a more fitting way for the virtual console experiment to shutter to a sputtering close, like, than for them just to wipe it off, because it was such for them just to wipe it out of existence, because the virtual console was it had a lot of promise for specifically answering the question or responding to the statement, which is, I wouldn't pirate this if you could give me the ability to buy it. I would buy this if I could. Right. And they said, okay,
right. And
here you go.
Basically, Nintendo responded with, but what if you could buy it 3 or 4 times?
Yeah. And just so many ways that they biffed it down the line. Yeah, this is no good. Specifically from the aspect of, yeah, you know, it's these games need to exist and people need to be able to play them. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I've beat this drum a lot.
Pirate all the games. The system's corrupt anyways.
I'm not comfortable saying that. You can. That is not the official position of the program. Yeah. No. This sucks. Yeah, and I mean, so the other casualty of this is there were a number of WiiWare games, not very many, but enough that just are not going to be available in other places because they were only released on that platform, and now you can no longer buy them, and eventually you will no longer be able to download them. I'm speaking specifically of at least one that I'm real bummed out that I didn't get a hold of, which is strangely an updated remake of one of the Game Boy Castlevania games that I understand was actually pretty good. Yeah, there were just a handful of examples of weird good games like that are just kind of gone in the ether right now. Yeah, and I have no idea if there is a way to get a hold of them and play them. I don't know if anybody could get the ROM, but also I've never looked and checked. So, womp. Oh, well. Any other thoughts about this? Okay.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it.
Or else.
Okay, weird tone, but okay. Yeah, where we demand you answer a question. God damn it. Jala, what is the question we demand be answered?
We asked, what was your longest gaming session ever? And thanks to Michael C. for the question.
Yeah, and I'll get us started here. We got a lot of these, so please don't be offended if we either don't get to yours or if we, kind of move quickly. So Jonathan writes, my longest this past year was 12 hours, but I know I've gone longer. 14 is the max, I think. I hope. Yeah. And so a lot of these numbers, for me, just inspire more questions because 12 hours. So was it just that you had dedicated that amount of time? Is that the time you had boxed off for it and you stopped to go, like, I don't know, like microwave yourself some lunch or... Yeah.
No, like you could have just microwaved yourself and been done with it.
Yes. Oh, Ben, what does Dan say?
Dan says, recently I would say about 7 hours on Horizon Zero Dawn, and I haven't even touched the Frozen Wilds DLC. Worth every minute. That seems reasonable.
Yeah. But again, though, I would... I need to know, is that unbroken? I don't assume anybody is putting these out unbroken. David, what does Devin say?
Devin says, longest ever? Probably the 3 days straight I played TF2 in college during a LAN party. I would estimate that just before dinner on the third day is when I passed out and slept for 18 hours straight.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think he's the winner of our award here.
Yeah, that isn't a LAN party. That's a LAN bender. That is straight up Jesse's meth party from season 4 is what you just described.
Yeah, I can't even play TF2 when I'm, not sleep deprived.
Let's see. Jala, what does Caleb say?
Caleb says 14 hours when Ashes of Ariandel released.
Wow, that's a long time to spend on a bad piece of Dark Souls DLC.
Oh,
sorry. It's yeah.
You're the one who can speak with authority about it.
I mean, kinda. I think people get angry when I speak with authority.
People have opinions. They can have a different opinion from Kole and still be acceptable. I fight with Kole all the time, and I am valid.
I exist, damn it. Yeah. No, I mean, we'll get to my answers, but that was probably pretty similar to mine. Let's see. Patrick says, I participated in Extra Life one year by myself and did the full 24 hours. I don't know my actual playtime without breaks, but my Twitch stream was running for that entire period. Not sure I can do it again, though. Solidarity, brother. Yeah, that is tough. See, the thing about the full 24 hours is when you get to the point where you would otherwise wake up, so like I wake up between 7 and 8 in the morning. When I get to 7 or 8, that is why I pass off to Allison or to Jeremy or to Ben when we do Duck Stream, because like that's when the crazy set in. That's when you get sick. That's when you get no, rough stuff. Ben, what does Adam say?
Adam says, I hold a gaming New Year's party most years. TVs in every room, Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and Halo LAN party. One year, we were still playing when the sun came up, January 1st.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. And also that is like good, healthy, and social, and not my examples of, of private Nixonian madness shouting at the paintings on the wall. David, what does Greg say?
Greg says, back when it was released, I was addicted to Civilization.
Me too.
Still,
and just air conditioning sentence. And yeah.
Still a huge fan of the series, as the 800 hours stream shows I've played Civ 5 can attest to. I had many long gaming sessions with Civ where I only got up to use the bathroom or eat. Being 15 at the time helped. I recall my longest straight session being 20 hours, and that still wasn't enough to finish that damn game due to a protracted war.
I love how you added the damn.
Yeah.
You're just like, he's got a curse about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I did insert
Read
that. But you know what they say. War is damn.
Oh, yep, Civ. I can see that happening. I think that the only thing that limited my Civ Revolution plays was the battery on my DS Lite. Yeah. Jala, what does Robert say?
Robert says, Extra Life 5 years running. They've been scheduling it on daylight savings, so 25 hours.
Wow, so that's the government arbitrarily saying, fuck you.
Yeah, I like imagine that what he's really saying is that he's been doing the Extra Life stream for 5 years.
Nobody stopped me. Send help. OMG Amu says, not the absolute longest, but as a kid I played Secret of Mana with a friend for about 14 hours straight on a Saturday. I've played longer solo, but if you combine his time and mine, it's 28 hours, right? Shruggo. P.S. Secret of Mana is really good co-op, folks. I believe it. Did you do 3-player co-op? No, it was 2-player. Yeah. Neat. And yeah, that is tough because you're both playing at the same time. It's not like you can tap in, tap out. Yeah. Ben, what does Jack say?
Jack says, I remember going 14 to 15 hours straight on Final Fantasy 19.
9.
No, 9 when it came out. I think I was trying to convince myself that Tetramaster was going to improve as I progressed.
I love how you added some games in there. Final Fantasy 19. We're just like that far into the future.
Yeah.
Roman numerals are hard.
Oh, no, it's... Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge. Yeah. very, very, very good. Yeah, no, Tetramaster never got better. Heartbreaking. David, what does Lindsay say?
Lindsay says, some friends of mine, including myself, played Super Bomberman all night long, finally stopping long enough to watch Men in Black. Around 10 hours or so. It's not that long, judging by the looks of some of these answers. But in all fairness, nobody got time for that anymore.
Weirdly, I have a similar experience. I don't know about the number, but like I rented Super Bomberman and like it was during the summer, and I was spending time at my grandma's cottage, and it was me and a buddy, and we just kept on playing like through the co-op single player experience, like until the sun went down. It was too much. So yeah, I understand. I know.
Bomberman's awesome.
Bomberman's great. And also so we played Super Bomberman, and then we stopped to watch Men in Black. Did you want to date that anymore? It was interrupted for an address from President Clinton about how the nation had run out of Surge. and half of the members of NSYNC were held hostage.
NSYNC.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. I was writing for Mad Magazine at the time, okay? That was an honest flub of my tongue. I did not intentionally say that. Oh.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Let's see, Jala, what does Darus say?
Drew says, "Phew, we will get together 5 to 6 people in someone's place and pull StarCraft Brood War all-nighters. The longest I can remember, I arrived to my friend's house at 5 p.m. on a Friday and left the next day at 10 a.m. 17 hours of PvP StarCraft. LOL."
Good God. That's intense. That requires a lot of concentration, too. That would be exhausting in multiple ways.
Like the people who are saying they're doing co-op and stuff, I'm just like, my attention span
no
for co-op is just not.
No.
It's not even co-op or versus, either way. Like I don't have the attention span to do it for very long at a time.
See, the problem is it's a marathon for both just the act of sitting and concentrating and doing something for that long, but also the tiresomeness of interacting with another person. Can I get a high five, everybody?
That's underlined. Hermit.
Introvert.
Yes.
Noah says, "I'm not counting all-nighter rental parties back in the Blockbuster days at my friend's house because we sort of had multiple movies and games happening at once. Nice. But my personal single longest gaming session was probably Final Fantasy IX. Second one for FF9. I'd been playing since the morning, and I had gotten sucked into the chocobo management aspect of the game. At one point, around dawn the next day, I had gotten the blue chocobo and could cross water and was excited to try it. Immediately ran into an extremely high-level dragon-like creature on a random island that wiped my team. I realized that I hadn't saved in about 4 or 5 hours, and I have never played Final Fantasy IX since."
Oh,
I don't think any court would convict you.
Man.
At least it specified Final Fantasy IX and not all Final Fantasies altogether. So
Yeah.
Ugh, that's rough. Man, it's not fun to do things twice.
Nope.
Yeah. Let's see. Ben, what does Nathan say?
Nathan says Resident Evil 6. Never played a Resident Evil game before and didn't really know why as I was playing this. But we stayed up all night and we're pushing 12 hours before we knew it.
That's the real turning point in Resident Evil 6, when you reach the point of, I don't really know why I'm playing this.
Well, we're going to keep on going.
I like this.
Well, I mean, like, you end up, with that game, you just end up going, this is real dumb, but it's fun.
I snarked because the snark was there, but I'm a big proponent of Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, FF6 is good. Weird pull, but okay.
Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
Although the Resident Evil Final Fantasy crossover, I would be into that.
I don't even know where to begin with that.
Yeah, neither do I.
Buster Sword would be a good place to start.
Wesker v Sephiroth. Let's see. I don't know why. I don't know why I said that like it was a court case. Dun dun. Let's see. That was you, Ben. So, David, what does Bill say?
Bill says, my friend and I beat Gears of War Judgment's campaign playing co-op over the course of 10 hours one night. I remember us killing General Karn just as the sun rose. That was at a time when we would regularly play Horde for 8 to 10 hours a session, trying to beat Wave 50 on Hardcore or Insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good games. Also, General Karn is the most video gamey name ever.
I like to think it is Richard Karn, the person who played Al on Home Improvement, just ascending through the ranks. I don't think so, Marcus.
This next one is the best one.
So do you want to read it, Jala?
Sure.
Oh no, okay. So you said the next one. I thought you were talking about the smiley face sticker, but no, David, he actually wrote a thing after that.
Oh yeah, I know. But like, actually, what I meant was the smiley face sticker. I want to read the smiley face sticker.
Yeah.
The first thing that David dropped was this really big smiley sticker that made me laugh. But then the actual content. During high school, I always had my best friend sleep over Christmas night, and we would stay up drinking Mountain Dew and crushing whatever games ended up under our tree. For years, it was the latest Ratchet and Clank. So, and no, Dennis. Oh, okay. Anyway, like he would just whatever, Jack and Daxter.
Yeah.
You know, he would have to bring it up. Anyway, the longest session was probably with Metal Gear 2. We beat the game and were so disappointed we played it again in the same session.
What?
Sure, we had missed something. We hadn't missed a thing. Just stunk.
I hate this. Let's do it again.
Also, truly, when you've spent all night drinking Mountain Dew, the only verb available to you is crushing. Like that's just science.
Yeah, Wilco talked about assassinating down the avenue. Mountain Dew has you crushed down the avenue. Wow. I really like that. Like there must be something we missed.
Like, so let's do the whole thing over again.
Wait a minute. The map said the treasure was buried here. We're 10 feet down. Well, what about 20? Let's just keep going. Let's see. This is me. Steven says, mine was embarrassingly recent. When Dark Souls 3 came out, I took the day off and played for 10 hours straight. That burnt sessions of multi-hour gaming out of me to this day. Yeah. No, some of the, I mean, like that'll get into my answer, which is fine. Like for Bonfireside chat, starting with Dark Souls 2 and then Bloodborne and then, Dark Souls 3 or whenever any of the DLC came out, being on the crunch, taking that week off to go through it as quickly as possible. Like that was rough and bad, and it is not the way that I like playing games. Yeah, and led to a lot of really awful times. So yeah, I can sympathize.
Bonfireside Chats is back.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sure for Sekiro it'll be different. We're giving ourselves a little bit more time, and B, I already don't have a job, so I can.
That is your job.
Yeah, I can just fit it in. I have no excuse. Let's see here. Ben, what does Corbin say?
Corbin says, longest was 14 hours when a World of Warcraft expansion came out in college. I stayed in roughly 40-foot area between my door, my bed, and my computer for the whole weekend. Not one of my prouder moments.
Ooh.
Yep. Accidental bender.
Damn it. So many benders. And then finally, David, what does Spencer say?
Spencer says, it was summer. I was in middle school. I started breeding chocobos to get that sweet, sweet Knights of the Round material one evening. And just after I got it, I heard birds chirping outside.
Uh-oh.
Suddenly, it was 9 hours later.
That is really good. I like that quite a bit. Yeah. And I like that they do not name the game, and that game was NBA Jam. I already gave my answer. Like the earliest one I can remember was Wild Arms 2. Again, I was at my grandparents' cottage, and we didn't have it on a rental. I think my brother had like checked it out from Babbage's or whatever. And I played for so long that my family got concerned. In general, though, I really don't like sitting still or playing a game for more than 2 hours. That is like the ceiling at which I need to go and do something else. And all of my planning of, for playing stuff for, shows and stuff, like, it takes that into account because I just cannot play for more than 2 hours without something extenuating happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, so the one that comes to mind is, I think the longest I played Resident Evil 4 in a day, and I don't think I beat it, but I think I got to the 4th or 5th chapter of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I spent maybe about 12 hours doing that. So I woke up early, started playing it, and I actually went out that night, like around 9 or 10, because it was like the summertime, and hung out with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. A good one to do it. Lots of RE in this section. David, how about you?
Yeah, so I think that some of the most memorable ones for me were some I had to get through very, very quickly due to us doing extra sods.
Oh, yeah.
In particularly Spec Ops The Line and then the BioShock Infinite. And in particular, I hadn't ever beaten BioShock, so I did a back-to-back, not like one session but like over the course of a week and a half, something like that. I think I played all of BioShock and then BioShock Infinite. I don't remember why in this one I did the same thing for Max Payne 2. And I would say all three of those games, there is something to be said for playing them in a single session. I think maybe it's just because all three of them have the common theme of people getting in over their heads and making very bad decisions. So, when you're doing likewise, you can kind of empathize.
Yeah, you get like a funhouse mirror thing going on. Yeah.
Especially in Max Payne 2.
Yeah. Jala, how about you?
So this is really funny because I don't like to sit still at all. I won't sit and watch movies. I will not sit and stream a game for more than like an hour and a half or 2 hours max. I just don't want to. However, I have a history of this shit. Dungeons and Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun was the first time I can remember doing a marathon of gaming, but it was because the saves didn't work. I was playing it and then I turned it off and then I went back to it later to play it again and then my data was gone. So I had to leave it on and play. Like it wasn't saving my data for some reason on that
Westwood.
cartridge. So I had to play until my Genesis overheated. So, I never have beaten the game. I started playing it on a ROM at some point. But that was the first time. The second time it happened was when I first got a laptop and I first got Morrowind, and that was my first open world game.
Yeah.
And I played Morrowind into the wee hours of the morning until my laptop overheated. And that's to be fair, I live in the pit of hell, and my family cannot afford to run the AC very, very cold because it's a lot of money to run the AC all the time in a place that is the pit of hell. So, it was overheating for various reasons. But anyway. Also, this was in 2002, so laptops did not last as long as they do now without that. So anyway, another time, I remember playing Azure Dreams. I was marathoning it with my then boyfriend, and one of us would play for a little while, and then the other one would nap, and then we'd switch. I'd have my... What?
You went in shifts?
Yes! And we were playing on the same save file, but we were damned determined to beat the game. And so... I'd have my head in his lap and I'd wake up when he's like, Jala, I got a barong. And I was like, awesome. And I go back to sleep, and then I get up and play again. And to be fair, the sleeping was also because this was when I was in college. So I was going to school full time and working full time. I don't know how long of a span we were doing that for, but it was long enough that I slept and woke up and he slept and woke up at least once. So, and then when my spinal stenosis kicked in and I was in severe pain and I couldn't turn my head, look down, exercise, paint, read. I couldn't do any of that. I basically couldn't do anything except stare forward. So I was playing Skyrim like a lot.
Yeah.
And I played that for I don't know how long.
And that's one of your most played games, right?
It's my second most played game after Resident Evil 6.
Right.
And I played that much of that game only because I couldn't move my head. I had a spinal problem. And yeah. But then Guild Wars 2 beta weekend, I played a whole fuck ton that whole weekend because I was part of the Guild Wars Insider news team and a community moderator, and we were fast tracking to beat the first dungeon for an article. So like we power leveled all weekend and then like managed to get through the Ascalonian catacombs. And like that was like this long marathon of gaming session. And then like I never did that again ever.
Right.
And then the last thing I can think of, like that was that in itself, the Guild Wars 2 beta weekend was probably like the longest I'd ever played anything. And I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for my community, but damn,
Yeah.
And then Dark Souls, when I first started playing that, I played 19 hours over the course of 2 days. I just like, that was one of my fuck it weekends where I was like, I am just like not going to do anything because I'm sick of doing all this other work and whatever. And I'm just going to have time to just not do much. So I just played lots and lots of Dark Souls. And like, I don't know, I would get up and do stuff. I don't remember any of these times being like, I was glued to the, system or whatever, but like, for the entire time anyway. But yeah, I was definitely playing for very long stretches at time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a history, which is weird because like I don't like to, stay still very much. Yeah. But I guess when I stay still, I do it in a big bad way. I sit around just as hard as I do all of.
Yeah, I do things hard and I do nothing hard.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, no, I just like any of these. I just wonder about the logistics, and I don't know if that's because I'm getting old or what. But like when we do Duckstream, like there is preparation that goes into it. Like I pre-cook things, and I like go and like get snacks, and I like set out enough water so that I know I'm gonna have it, and. Just like all that prep, like they're like, it takes a lot of effort to stay in the same place for a long time. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So this has been a stark and sobering reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael C., for asking us that awesome question.
If you would like to participate in these, if you would like to open yourself up to our demand for answers, then go to let's see here, facebook.com/The Level Podcast, and watch for those to go up on Monday afternoons. The grind. Now it is time for the grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing for the past period of time or so. Let's see, because Jala and Ben, both of you have been away the longest, or you both have been away for equal amounts of time. This gets in the way of my usual heuristic. So,
well, I vote for Ben because I go first kind of often because Dennis and I toggle, or David and I toggle usually.
Yeah.
So Ben doesn't get to go first as often.
I had a whole scheme with randomized numbers and stuff.
But... Oh, now you want to randomize shit.
Is it the same or different than the order of the show? So far, that seems to be pretty normal.
Okay, Ben, what have you been? What you been getting into, buddy?
Yeah, so I only got one this week. I picked up and started playing Frostpunk. It's another strategy game.
Yeah.
It's made by the people who made This War of Mine. I think half of us maybe played this game when it came out a few years ago.
Yeah, This War of Mine rules. We're doing Frostpunk for WoF coming up in a month or so. So I'm getting ready to jump into that. I'm curious to hear what you think.
Have you played it yet, or is it on your 2 playlist?
It is on my 2 playlist. I've got to get through BioShock Infinite, and I need to get through Papers, Please, before I start on Frostpunk.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. I want to hear what you think, though, because I know that game is going to be a hole for me, and I'm curious what you think.
So I've only got 11 hours into it so far, so it's not like I haven't fallen into a Frostpunk hole or anything. Despite the game taking place in a hole, the premise of the game, it has a lot of good world building, kind of similar to this world of mine. It's and similar to that, it's like dystopian in nature. The premise is like the world's frozen over, temperatures are kind of in free fall, like society's kind of collapsed. Great Britain being like a nice forward-thinking country, similar to like Children of Men. They started building generators around the country in the north for people to build societies around to try and stay warm. And so the premise of the game is a strategy game. You are the mayor of this town that is by a generator. You start off with 80 people in the town. Everybody starts off homeless. The thing that you were trying to manage is you were trying to get everybody to start working the resources around you, start mining them. There's oil, there's wood, and there's something like platinum or something like this, like some type of stone. But the problem is when people are cold, it increases the probability that they will get sick and possibly like lethally sick. So you have to kind of try and send them out only during the daytime, like when it's warm. And then you have to try and research tech where you can kind of try and improve insulation of the buildings they're working in, or try and heat the buildings that they're working in. Throughout the entire game, there's an overlay where you can see the temperature of everything. And so there's like 6 different layers to the temperature, and each layer kind of shows what the probability of them getting sick is. So if it's like red, they're good. There's no chance that they're going to get sick. If it's yellow, there's a very, very small chance they'll get sick. They're probably going to be fine. If it's a light blue, like green color, it's considered chilly. And there's like a moderate chance that they might get sick, but that's it. And then as it gets colder and colder, it's like there's a chance that they might get like fatally sick, or they might die, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a race against the clock. As you're playing the game, like it says, like day 1, day 2, day 3 or whatever, and you have like this little scrolling meter that's kind of like a forecast of the weather for like the next like 3 or 4 days. And so eventually you'll start seeing something where it's like, hey, the temperature is going to drop 40 degrees. And so you have like 3 days to prepare for this. So it's like, all right, I need to update these buildings so they have a warm place to go during that time. I need to upgrade my main generator so that it expands more and can cover more area. You can kind of prepare for it, because if things get really cold and you can't heat your town, things start getting really bad. Like your people start getting sick, so you can't send them out to work, so you're getting less resources, and so then it's harder to heat the town that you have, and it's more likely that people are going to get sick there. And it's like a very like anxiety-inducing experience when it's like when you're the quote-unquote mayor of this place and you like can't heat your town, and you have to like watch the overlay be like chilly all around, and like your citizens are like getting really cold. It's a very sad experience when that happens. Thankfully, it doesn't happen too often if you plan things out. So I think I've played maybe 3 or 4 different games. Like I would start a game, and then once I would run into a problem or see that I misplayed something, I would kind of start over and try and play from there. But in the current game that I have, I've kind of stuck with it, and I'm like maybe in the mid-20s of where I'm at in the day. And I don't see myself like losing or anything. I've like kept up with text, and I've kept up with like resources being mined. And like having good production values and stuff. There are kind of caps on how many resources you can get per day. Like you have certain stockpile limits, and so you start to hit those. And then kind of another interesting development of the game is if you research enough technology, you can start building like drones, like autonomous workers.
Okay.
And so they can work in any temperature, and they can work at night, and they don't need sleep or anything. So eventually there's like this cool little narrative going on where you're eventually replacing human workers with like machines, and like that's your main workforce, and then humans can just kind of hang out in town and do whatever they need to do,
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's been interesting so far. The build system's really interesting too. Instead of it being like kind of like a square system like most strategy games, it's on a radial system. So there's it takes place like in a kind of like it's like a hole. It looks almost like a mushroom cloud type thing or whatever. It's like it's a cylinder kind of like bored into the earth, and then there's a generator in the middle of it that heats. And that only heats a certain amount of like circles distance out, I guess. But that can be upgraded, so it can go further and further towards the edge of the entire like cylinder. And so as you're building kind of radially around the generator, since that's like the closest to the heat.
Yeah.
So that system's really cool. That's like, it makes for a really interesting building system. There's a few other quirks with it too, where like certain buildings need to be by a road system, so you're kind of building a road system on top of this as well. But yeah, it's so far it's a fun game. I picked it up because this is kind of an interesting development. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but Steam will start to give you coupons now for games.
Yeah, I saw that when they put out this Lunar New Year sale.
Yeah, so I think I got this like a week and a half ago or so. So I think it was before the sale started, but I got a coupon for 50% off this game. So it was like $15 instead of $30. So I thought that was interesting too. I hadn't seen that before, like the coupon system, but that's like an interesting way for them to sell games. It's kind of like very like targeted advertisement, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's like an interesting development in Steam or whatever. But yeah, anyway, game is fun. I think it's probably worth that. It's similar to what you're saying. I can't say what $15 is worth to most people, but it seems like I've gotten 12 hours of like good playtime so far. So like if that's a good deal for you, then it's worth picking up, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So something I really like in Frostpunk, just kind of as a example of, I guess you could say, kind of ambient storytelling in terms of supporting the tone, is the fact that you can basically set up these, arguably relatively dystopian pit fights as one of the things you can build. And they actually, increase the overall mental health of your community because people actually have stuff to do after work.
That is one thing. I didn't talk about. There's like you can kind of take small steps in developing the society. There's like different laws you can pass, and that can kind of shape what your town will look like. And I guess without spoiling anything, like maybe 10 or 15 days into the game, you can kind of make bigger decisions about how you want to shape your society. And it seems like it can go in very good or very bad places, depending upon how you choose. Maybe a simple example of what you can do at the outset of the game is like one law you can decide is you can either pick to make child labor legal or illegal. And so, like, it's interesting. Like, the first step is like, okay, well, we'll make it legal, but they can only work in safe spaces. Like, we're not going to send them out to, like, these cold areas or something like that.
Yeah, not going to make them crawl under the textile mill machines.
Yeah, and then there's, like, branches for all these laws, right? So whichever choice you make with one, that might open up new laws that you can make down the line. So if you legalize child labor, the next one is like, oh, well, we're going to make it legal that they can work anywhere. Like, we found that this is really effective, so let's do that, Whereas, like, in my personal run-through, I made it like illegal, but if you do that, then you have to make these like centers for where the kids can go during the days where they can be like watched, and so that's kind of taking up valuable space and like in your town, like that needs to be like heated and stuff like that. So there's kind of like a cost to everything, but then there's like benefits where like people are happier, or there's a hope, and there's I forget what it is, like it's frustration or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this, like a morale system, right?
Yeah, so they have two different meters. One is like the hope meter, so that's like how I guess how hopeful your citizens are. Like, yeah, we're gonna make it in this planet, which sometimes it can drop really low, and they're like, man, society really sucks right now. There's also like a frustration meter where it's like one of the things another law I picked early on is you can make it so that you only serve soup for your citizens. You basically you make more food from like the raw food that you have, but it's like soup, so people aren't exactly happy with it. So like the frustration meter will build as they get it. But that was something I was very okay with at the beginning of time. It's just like, hey, shut up and eat your soup. Like, get limited resources.
Now, these things? Can you do like a civilization thing and like then change your laws, or is it once you do it, you're set for a playthrough?
I think you're set once you do a playthrough. I'm trying to think if there's things that you can go back on. I think you're pretty locked in once you enable a law. I haven't seen any cases of it going back. There are effects of what you pick. So like you might pick a thing and then like 5 days later it'll have an immediate impact. Like So there are consequences for what you pick.
Sure.
But it would be interesting to kind of explore some of the options of it, especially with the thing that I mentioned before, like 10 or 15 days. There's like a bigger choice you can make. I do really want to see. I picked one option, but I would be interested in going the other option because it kind of makes entirely new trees that you can go down of like what laws you're putting into your towns. And it's
also kind of interesting because it's like, well, if you look at, what the laws actually were in, say, like Western society at a comparable level of development, like not real similar to how they are now.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, like the example that I saw of the hope system or what have you is like, okay, as a town, are you going to do mass graves or are you going to do individual burials? Right. Yeah. And one of those is more efficient and devotes, fewer resources to, dead people who cannot actually contribute to your ongoing survival. But it also creates a hit. And the other one uses more resources to keep people happy, and not putting their loved ones into a big pit. Right.
Yeah. I made the mass grave.
and that's the thing. Like, that's what I loved about this War of Mine. It puts you, by enforcing privation through gameplay, it puts you into a mindset, where your values and, I don't even need to say anything else. Your values have a cost assigned to them. Ludicrously.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And I think it's also, kind of my argument with moral choices in games has always been the problem with them is generally that good versus evil is usually pretty boring. What's interesting is questioning what's the good thing to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like the tone of this game a lot better than this War of Mine because I'm not, even though it's like dystopian future, I'm less depressed playing this game than this War of Mine. So.
Yeah, like Frostpunk is sci-fi enough and speculative enough that it does not actually like mimic real life things that are happening in the world.
Time.
I mean, give it time, but like right now, there are people living in war-torn countries who need to do terrible things to stay alive. Like, yeah.
So I'm happy that I'm happy that I'm not depressed playing this game. But again, maybe at the same time, like maybe I'm not getting a broader perspective by playing this game. So I don't know. Whatever.
The trade-offs, right?
So the one thing I wish I knew what the end point of the game was. There's like the tech level, I think there's like 5 levels to the tech level, and I've gotten to the 5th one. So I've kind of like hit a ceiling for how far and how hot I can heat like of an area. So I can't really expand outside of that. So I'm not really sure how far it goes beyond, and I don't know if it just goes forever or if there's a certain point where it's like, okay, you've quote unquote won the game, like you're hopeful enough or whatever. Yeah. So I wish they kind of like I guess like goalposted that more or like billboarded that more of like where I knew I was going. So that's like the one thing that's keeping me from like jumping back into it. I'll probably pick it up again and play some more this week. But
Are you curious about trying the other scenarios?
Yeah, so they do have other ones. The only one that I've seen so far is like there's like an endless mode, but I think they have like different like challenges maybe, but I haven't really explored those too much.
Yeah.
So first I need to focus on just beating the actual game, but I might go back and try some like different like city planning type stuff because that does seem a little bit interesting. Yeah, and I do want to do like right now I'm trying to do like a good run through, where it's like even though it's like things like mass graves or whatever, they're things that are efficient and like must be done, even though if they're not the happiest things, but they're not like evil things necessarily. Like it would be interesting to go back through and do like kind of evil run where it's like you have child slave labor and like just like you can imprison all of your townspeople and stuff like that. Like
I'd be curious if you could push things so far and rule in such a depraved manner that people revolt against you, right? Like, how far can you push them?
And they do billboard that mechanic where they say if the frustration meter reaches the top, the townspeople give you an ultimatum where they're like, hey, you need to fix this or whatever. And I think it's like if you do then you can continue on, but there's still a high level of frustration. If you don't, then you lose the game because they impeach you and pick a new leader pretty much. So
cool. Well, that is a nice bit of serendipity that you're playing that as well.
Yeah, I'll be excited for you to play it and we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Is that all?
That's all I got.
All right, Jala, I'm going to throw to you.
Okay, so I played more Tiny Bird Garden. I have met all of the tiny birds, but I still haven't seen the birds that I follow on Instagram. So I guess that they are secret characters, and I'm going to have to Google how to get them to show up because I've got nothing else to do. Like, yeah, there's like Achievos if you want to get all the birds in the garden to wear rad caps, which are basically like brightly neon colored baseball caps that all the birds wear backwards, or something like that. There's different random things like that I can do to get achievements, but there's not really a point to that. So like, unless I start seeing, Alex the honking bird or something, I am not a happy camper and I'm done. So yeah. I need to find Alex and the others. So,
but will Alex make the noise?
I don't know.
Do the other birds make the noise?
No. No other birds make the noise, but you can't have the Alex without the honk.
No, come on.
So that's the thing. And if people listening don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Alex is a 20-year-old cockatiel that this lady in Australia just started making videos of her cockatiels, and one of them went viral, and now everybody follows Alex the cockatiel, who just honks at things, but he's very cute and he's a cockatiel. I have a cockatiel.
Yeah.
So like I watch the Alex videos because it's adorable little cockatiel. The end. So that's the story of Alex the cockatiel.
Nice.
So
yep.
And Kole has raised me the fluffy cockatoo video that I just posted with a fluffy Greta. So
yep, I was trying to take a picture of her sleeping because she was a sleepy crescent roll on her chair, but then she sensed that I was pointing something at her and she woke up.
Yes, of course, that is how it always goes.
Yep.
So well, anyway, so Tiny Bird Garden. I think I'm almost done with that, unless I find Alex. So. So, there's that. I don't have anything else to say about that. Octopath Traveler. I finished all of the Chapter 3 quests finally. What's great is that when I started playing, I was like, oh, snap. Like, I finished the one that I was on, and for some reason, I thought that I had, that was the end of it, right? But I had 3 more, 3 more quests to go to finish all the Chapter 3 ones. So I worked very hard on getting those done this weekend. So I did all of the Chapter 3 quests. Now, my next plan of action is to go off in search of the 4 advanced secondary classes that exist. If you recall, you have to go to a shrine to unlock the secondary classes, and I unlocked the secondary classes for all of the primary classes that you have in the game. So these are extra classes that I can go and fetch. So I'm going to go do that because those shrines are in some high level areas, and that will be some leveling up and all of that. And that way that's like completion, so I can see what those classes do. Because some of the classes like just don't seem as viable as others. Like they're not overall as useful. And there's a couple of characters that I don't like how they're spec'd, and like they're not super useful generally speaking. So I want to do something else with them. So opening up those other advanced classes will allow me some more options to shuffle things around. So I'm going to do that. And then after I finish going to all of those shrines and getting those advanced classes, I will also go back through and do some of the side quests that I still have open. I went through and I did like a sweep of side quests, and I was just doing nothing but side quests for several days. And then I just haven't gone back to that. Like I've been mainlining it. So I want to go back and do the rest of those side quests because I still have some outstanding to finish. So after I do both of those 2 things, though, I think I should be pretty good to move on to the Chapter 4 quests because my party members are like at level 40 to, Therian, who is my main guy, is like level 51 or something, but the others are like level 40 or 41. So, the chapter 4 quests all have a recommended level of 45. So if I can just do, a little bit more running around, I should get those levels just doing that. And then I should be good to go to start chapter 4 stuff. So, but I am not there yet. This is just my plan of action for the next bit. But I am now, 3/4 of the way through the game. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was
now past where I'm at the game too, because I haven't done all the requests yet. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Because I haven't had any problem with any of the chapter 3 stuff. So
that makes one of us.
Yeah, I was curious. That was going to be my question, is because you talk about chapter 1, chapter 2. I had no idea how many chapters were in the game.
There's 4 for every character, and then there might be stuff after that too. I don't know. After you finish all the chapter quests, because sometimes certain games have epilogues or other running around end game stuff. Yes. So there might be you might finish all of the chapter 4s, and then there's and then the ultimate big bad that ties all of the threads together or something like that. That could very well be the thing. So I might not be 75% through the game, but anyway, I will operate under that assumption at this juncture. Mm-hmm. But I feel pretty accomplished that I got some more stuff done. And I was playing a little bit of that, and I was also working some while you were doing your streaming this weekend, Kole, but I had to kind of try to watch some of that as much as I could before I fell asleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. I probably would have gotten a little bit more gaming done if I hadn't been watching your stream, but
yeah, but you also wanted to see...
I also wanted to see Resident Evil 2 because I don't know when the hell I'm going to play it.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, the only comment or observation I want to make about Octopath Traveler is, given that this is a Square Enix game, those seemingly useless classes might actually be the ones that break the game.
They could very well be, but whatever. They're already 100% unlocked on the characters that have them right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not finding anything particularly exciting about that. Now, it could very well be that I just don't have the right equipment on them to spec them out the best I could, but I'm not really good. I'm not going to worry about that unless I actually run up on a wall. I have not run up on a wall in this game so far, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will just keep on chugging along and doing my thing. I actually am looking forward to doing more side quests because I am interested to see the resolution of some of them. I came across some of these side quests and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, but I don't want to stop and do that right now.
Right.
So it will be fun to go back and finish those up and whatnot. So yeah.
Cool. I'm going to do mine real quick because it is just RE2. That was all you had, right, Jala?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I based on your list you sent before, yes. I recalled correctly. Yeah, I'll do mine real quick, and then David, you can get into yours. So I've not been playing a lot of new stuff. I just streamed this past weekend Resident Evil 2 again. It was strangely difficult to wait until this weekend to play more of this game. I wanted to play more of it sooner. Because it is a good game and it's up in my brain. And I still had a tremendous amount of fun playing it for the stream and talking through it and kind of pointing out just things that are cool from the stance of somebody who really loves the original, and also talking about the encounters and stuff. Both you, Jala, and you, Ben, were there watching it, so I want to kind of use my portion of this segment to open it up for you guys to either offer your observations or ask questions about the play. So Ben, I'll throw to you first.
Yeah, I did have a question. Having not played the original Resident Evil 2, how similar is this game to it? Is it like one-to-one remake, or do they kind of retell a different story but same characters, or?
They tell broad strokes the same story, which is the fall of Raccoon City to the kind of poor planning and plots of the Umbrella Corporation as a result of the kind of rogue research that William Birkin was doing on the G virus. You follow a lot of the same trajectory, from the police station down through the sewers and water treatment area into the Umbrella headquarters, and then you make your escape on the train. There is, however, stuff that they have sharpened, I would say. So in the original game, when you played as Claire, you had to run around as Sherry and dodge zombies and stuff like that. Sherry being the young girl, the daughter of William Birkin and Annette Birkin, the two researchers who are kind of the, who take the role of villains in the game. Although that is also good.
So she was not a badass at that point?
No, she was quite annoying in the original. And even here, she is, very disempowered. She ends up doing something with the police chief, and it ends up being kind of a stealth and pursuit section that was not present in the original. However, it still follows the broad strokes, and I think is additive. They make improvements to the stuff that was kind of there, while still respecting the kind of spirit of the original source material. So I don't think that, I don't even know how much I believe this, but this doesn't replace the original, because the original is going to have its charms and it is absolutely historically accurate. But you don't need to feel like you are missing anything gigantic if you've never played the original RE2 and this is your first kind of exposure to Leon, Claire, Birkin, and Raccoon City in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The only comment I have about the game is it looks really nice. Yeah. It definitely looks like a Resident Evil game, over the shoulder, shoot people. It looks just like Resident Evil 4 mechanics wise, but it looks really, really polished.
Super fast, super fluid. The animation is amazing. The lighting is fantastic. The enemy kind of design and animation quirks are additive to the combat experience. Yeah. Yeah. Jala, you watched.
I did.
Yeah.
What about it?
Did you have any observations or question? Because I feel like last week I said what I wanted to say about it, but both of you were here, and I wanted to kind of see it through your eyes a little bit.
Looks like I want to play it.
Yeah, it's really good. You should want to play
it. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Did you have questions about the way I played
the game?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. I'm one of the random people who's just I don't really care about Claire much. So
right.
I'm ready for Leon to pop on and be a little kid Leon that I haven't seen before. That'll be interesting.
Little kid Leon's great.
Yeah. And I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and he was like, because he had never played any of the Resident Evil games until Resident Evil 6, which I played with him
right
all the way through. And so then after that, then he went back and played 4. And so he's only ever seen Snarky Leon. So, and he's never played, the old games. So we were talking about it. And he was just like, yeah, it's really weird for me to see Resident Evil 2 because Leon is not snarky. He's like a dude, a little kid dude. I'm like, yeah, it is. He didn't start that way. And I like the fact that there's that evolution, and they chose to kind of rewind and go back to, all that jazz.
Yeah, they show him being earnest and in over his head in a really relatable way.
Yeah, and
now
then
if only you could get over Ada.
Yeah, right. But anyway,
yeah. See, the thing is, you want to see young Leon, but you're also going to see a lot of Ada when we get to that part, Jala. So I need you to brace yourself.
Well, that's okay. Depending upon if I'm doing something else at the time, I might not flip a table. But we'll see. But I don't know. Maybe Ada is not as intolerable because she also had some changes over time, perhaps. Or is she going to irritate me?
I can't recall the specific thing that really irritates you about Ada aside from her existence.
Okay, the reason why I do not like Ada, because I'm sure there are fans of Ada going, Jala doesn't like Ada, what the hell? Well, okay, it's because Ada is just she always acts super smug and oh yeah, I know everything, even when she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And Like, she tries to act all like, oh yeah, I don't give a fuck about anybody, and stuff like that. And I just don't like the attitude. It just irritates me. Like, does she do cool things? Does she function as a badass? Yes, she does, alongside a bunch of other badasses. So like, okay, whatever. She's like one of the, strong female protagonists or, antagonists or Catwomans, if you will, whatever for this. Okay, cool. Except there's just aspects of her personality I just do not like.
Yeah.
So
she is female Dante.
Yes, she is.
Kinda, yeah.
She is kinda, but like Dante's worse, way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But like she smacks of the same kind of attitude that I don't like. So
yeah,
that's what I don't like.
So she still is like that in this. It is not as like wildly over the top, but like her role in this is, as the supposedly FBI agent femme fatale who is taking advantage of Leon's naivete.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of like, I am cool and in control and above it all. I think that of the characters that they revised, she is the one who gets the least amount of revision, but that might have to do with the fact that she is filling a cartoon character role regardless.
Well, and the thing about it, though, is that in this game, Leon is not anywhere near her level.
Yeah.
Like, she's been operating for a while and he's like a newbie. So like, I don't know if it's going to necessarily bother me the same way that it does later, because later on, like, she still treats him like, BS all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, dude has already been there, done that. Like, you just need to get the shit over it, Like, stop acting like an asshat.
And I think also in this one, she's actually doing something, whereas in 6, does she ever actually do anything?
Yeah, she
runs
drives the
around
plot
with Jiminy Cricket.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then she saves Sherry because everybody has to save Sherry. Shave Sherry.
I remember Ada Wrong doing stuff. I don't remember her doing anything.
Sorry, it took me a second to recognize what you were doing with Ada Wrong. Yeah, no, like Ada is a driver of the plot and 6, even if she is an observer for a lot of it. Yeah, Jala, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, weird. It sounded. I could hear like a female voice in the distance.
No, that wasn't a female voice. That was David's voice off in the distance, tinny and like robot-y sounding for a second.
Oh, weird.
I get that a lot.
Oh, yeah. So it'll come through. It'll come through on the Skype audio when people hear it. They will know what I heard. Let's see. That is me. That is RE2. I'm going to try to have something new to talk about next time, but man, I'm all about this game. It is so good and so all for me. David, how about you? What you been up to?
Sure. So I'm closing in on the end of Desolate. According to the in-game measure, I'm at 95% completion. Let me think here. It's interesting. I feel like compared to the Stalker series, it more explicitly has a plot line, whereas like the Stalker games have a good story, but it's more of a world type
it's not a series of events that the game pulls you through.
Right, exactly. Whereas this is much more of that. And this one, again, I'm going to have to, before you guys do the watch out for fireballs, I'm gonna have to actually read Roadside Picnic, but the idea I get is that Stalker follows Roadside Picnic much closer and is in some ways a little more grounded, as much as anything fundamentally based on violating the laws of physics can be grounded.
As much as anything with monsters can be grounded.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas this one does a lot more like honestly like Resident Evil type shit.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's really good, a lot of fun. It has been a little bit interesting. There definitely is a turn where, you know, my character has now become the embodiment of death, and you know, I can now, you know, go toe to toe with you know, a giant mutant bear with only a knife and win.
Okay.
So like there's definitely a change where you kind of get ahead of the power curve, although I feel like overall it's, you know, fairly earned, and it also seems like it happens at about the point where the combat stops really being what the game's about, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be a little bit interested to see where it goes. It does do some interesting story beats in that it's very much set in a world where you know, everyone knows that all these you know, strange supernatural things are happening, and like there's apparently people just kind of living on this island, you know, with all these weird, you know, horrors and stuff.
Anomalies,
so,
yes.
Say again?
Anomalies.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, where they go with that, because like there's been kind of some side things where you'll somewhat hear back from the mainland about what the quote-unquote international community feels about the events that you're causing to go on and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of interested to see if they go anywhere with that.
Okay.
So another thing I think deserves a shout out is it seems like the devs are doing a really good job of supporting it. You know, it's, I guess you could argue that maybe this should have happened during an early access, but it seems like, you know, any of the things I've experienced that have been issues have very quickly been patched. Mm-hmm. So yeah, hope to you know, finish up this week, and then yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. That is Desolate. What do you think you're going to move on to next?
That's a tough one. I've debated maybe Horizon Zero Dawn, because that's currently on sale.
Oh, nice.
Or you know, look at something on Steam, you know, because now everything is on sale.
Yes, yeah, we're
till February 11th.
Yeah.
Yep. So definitely, you know, if anyone's got any, you know, suggestions, feel free to send them my way.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know that I have any other questions about Desolate. It sounds neat, but I need to play the original before I look at or consider the
yeah.
I'm
interested to know, are you going to what's the WAF stance on like mods, particularly for games that kind of have mods that have sort of become the semi-canonical way to play the game?
We generally roll vanilla unless there is a functional way. Yeah, just like unless a mod is necessary to make the game functional.
Okay.
So like we don't generally, like, if there is a mod for restoring like lost content or like content that wasn't there, we generally don't do that just because that wasn't in the initial product or whatever.
Sure,
but like something like Morrowind, there are a bunch of things that you just do now to make that just a little bit more approachable. And so I rolled some of those when we did
that
Morrowind.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Neat. So, did you have anything else, David?
No, that's it for now.
Cool. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Zippers.
Buttons!
But buttons.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the level number 273. We appreciate you taking the time. I forget if I've talked about it on this show, but I will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, April the, I think, 11th, 12th, and 13th, or the weekend that is closest to those dates that I have remembered for the Midwest Gaming Classic. Hopefully it will not be a blizzard this time like it was last time. That was a real bummer. Otherwise, though, we would be super happy to see you and talk to you and have you come out to the show. It is a neat convention that is getting bigger every year. So if you can make it, please do. And do not be afraid to say hi. Otherwise, for this show, ratings and reviews are nice and appreciated. Additionally, if you would like to talk about the show on social media and recommend your friends, we wouldn't look sideways at that either. Otherwise, though, just come back next time and we'll be happy to have you. So I've been Cole Ross at Cole Ross on Twitter.
I've been David Moneysmith at, I guess, David Moneysmith here.
Yeah.
Place.
I am always and continue into the far future as Jala-chan in places.
I am, and my name is Ben Merkel.
Ooh. And stick around for some titles. Okay, who has titles for me?
I have a great deal, actually.
Oh, boy.
Okay. David, go ahead.
Sure. So I have Becoming Chun-Li. That one zombie game I forgot. Son of Bill Murray. Wesker v. Sephiroth. And B, I already don't have a job. Oh, now you want to randomize? And Little Kid Leon.
Okay.
I also had Wesker b. Sephiroth.
Okay.
Also, I had Nothing Real Can Stay.
Ooh.
And then the other one that I had was, Hey, shut up and eat your soup.
I feel like that would have been a great tagline for the game.
I would be. I'm tempted to stylize that with a "Hey, comma, shut up and eat your soup!" ! But I think just like "Hey, shut up and eat your soup" without any punctuation is the funnier way to do that.
Yeah, it is. Without the punctuation is funnier.
Yeah. Okay, Ben.
I just have two. I have "Why Yes" as one word.
Okay.
And I have "Do Nothing Hard."
Do no. Oh yeah, that's Jala with her marathon plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I only had one. I had Y and yes at the same time. So this does not get it's not the vote winner, but I laughed the hardest at, and generally people seem to really dig, "Hey, shut up and eat your soup."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the one.
Yep.
It's the time that Ben got violent.
Hey, shut up and eat your...
Only verbally.
We now know what the what is the Ben dystopia? Bentopia will be like.
Yep.
Filled with soup.
See, the problem with soup is that there's a huge variety in soups. Yes, eating the one kind of food forever is not great. However, there are a bunch of different kinds of soups you can have. I don't know. I'm hungry for soup now, but I think that's just because I'm hungry in general. Okay. Cool. So it is, "Hey, shut up and eat your soup." Thanks. Thanks for making the time tonight, guys.
Yeah. Hey, likewise. Peace, y'all.
All right, take care.
Hunger strikes.
Yes, please go.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.